Happy New Day, brothers and sisters. I greet you by saying Ma'at Hotep. Welcome to another Sunday online and NJIA Fellowship of the African Village and Cultural Center. I'm Ray Hagins, your host, your teacher, your brother, your friend. Listen, to get us kicked off today, we had such a great time starting last week with Liberation Has Come, and it has set us free. So we're going to do that again this week because folk enjoyed it so much last week. So let's get right into it to get warmed up here. Then we'll come back with our opening song one more time. Yeah. Text 10 people, let them know that we're live and on the air. All right? Oh, yes.
Here's a message for you. Listen.
Check it out.
Liberation has come and it has set me free. Liberation has come, it has set me free. Now that I know the truth, I have victory. I'm gonna say that one more time. Liberation has come, it has set me free. Oh, liberation has come.
Yeah.
It has set me free. Free. Now that I know the truth, I have victory. Now listen to this. Now they stole us from our homeland, the homeland called black, and brought us here to America and said, Africa, you can never go back. Then gave us a book they called the Bible. They said, black man, black woman, read it and believe that I know the truth. I have the victory. I'm going to say that again. Listen. Now they stole us from our homeland, the homeland called black, and brought us here to America and said, Africa, you can never go back. And gave us a book they called the Bible and said, black man, black woman, read it and believe.
Yeah.
But I know the truth. I have the victory. Oh, Lord, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy on me.
Yeah.
On me, on me. We're your children. Please set us free. I know the truth. Now I have victory. One more thing I want to say here. Listen. Now with the stroke of the pen, he wrote me the laws for all American citizens, but for us all and none at all. And out of the same old book, he said, doing the others that you would have them doing to you. That man been lying, cheating, and deceiving me and you. But I know the truth. Yes, I got the victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Liberation has come. It has set me free.
Yeah.
Be free, be free, be free. It has come and it has set me free. Ooh, I know the truth. Now I have the victory. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, have mercy on me.
Yeah.
Lord, have mercy. Have mercy on me. Ooh, I know the truth. Now I have victory. Here's another thing for you. Now, with the stroke of the pen, he wrote many laws for all American citizens, but for us all and none at all. Then out of the same old book, he said, doing to us as you would have him doing to you. He's been lying, cheating, yes, deceiving me and you. But I know the truth.
Yeah.
I have the victory. Oh, liberation has come, and it has set me free.
Oh, yes.
Liberation has come, it has set me free. Ooh, I know the truth, yeah. Now I have victory. Oh, victory. I have victory.
By the way, I do have the rights to this music because it's me.
God, we're your children.
I'm playing all of the instrumentation.
Set us free.
My associate minister, G. Edwards, is doing
Now
the
that I know
lead singing there.
I have victory.
Oh, yes. We were just playing around, having fun in the basement.
Be free, be free. Woo. Liberation has come. It has set me free. Oh, I know the truth.
That's right, Texas.
Now I have victory.
It's gonna be a hot one
Let me tell
today.
you what I said at first.
Oh yeah.
Now they stole us from our homeland, the homeland called black, and brought us here to America and said, Africa, you can never go back. They gave us a book they called the Bible and said, black man, black woman, will you read it and believe? But I know the truth. I got victory. Oh, Lord, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy on me. Ooh,
Yeah, man.
Ooh, will your children set us free? Ooh, but I know the truth. I have victory. Yeah.
Let me have a little bit here.
Play it, son. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Give it to me one more time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Now that I know the truth, I have victory. One more time. Liberation has come.
Yeah.
It has set me free.
Liberation has come, man. It has set me free.
Liberation has come. And it has set me free.
I'm so glad.
And now that I know the truth, oh, I have victory. Yeah, victory.
Oh, yeah.
I have victory. Oh, we're your children.
Set us free.
Yeah, now that I know the truth, I have victory. Lord, have mercy, mercy on me, on me, on me, on me.
Yeah.
Oh, we're your children. Set us free.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know the truth. I have victory.
Oh, shucks.
Hey, hey, hey. I thank God to be free. Oh, now that I know the truth, ooh, I have victory. Oh, have mercy on me. We're your children. Set us free. Now that I know the truth, I have victory.
Yeah, man. You know, just listening to that takes me back, man, you know, to great memories of building the African village and just having fun. Again, that was yours truly on instruments, and my associate minister at that time, Minister G. Edwards, doing the lead vocal there. You know, we were just playing around, having fun, man, and you heard we just hit the outcome of it. Just improvise it, didn't write it, nothing, didn't score it out, you know, and just at that moment of inspiration, you know? Yeah. Again, welcome, family, to another Sunday Online NJIA Fellowship of the African Village and Cultural Center. I'm Ray Hagins, and I'm so glad to have you with me right now. And let's get right into one more time. God allowed us to come together one more time. Okay? Yeah, come on, sing it like you mean it. Don't take it for granted. Come on, everybody. One more time. One more time. God allowed us to come together one more time. One more time. One more time. God allowed us to come together. Yeah. God allowed us to come together one more time. One more time. God allowed us to come together. One more time. One more time. God allowed us to come together. God allowed us, yeah, to praise God's name. To praise God's name. God allowed us to come together. To praise her name. Praise her name. God allowed us to come together. God allowed us, yeah. Oh man. To sing our song. Just to sing our song. God allowed us to come together. Sing our song. To sing our song. To sing our song. God allowed us to come together. God allowed us, yeah. Now come on, let's put those hands together. To clap our hands, everybody. To clap our hands. God allowed us to come together. Clap our hands. To clap our hands. To clap our hands. Oh, God allowed us to come together. God allowed us, yeah. Everybody say one more time. Just one more time. God allowed us to come together one more time. One more time. One more time. Oh, God allowed us. God allowed us. Yeah. Come together one more time. God allowed us. Yeah. Just to praise her name. God allowed us. Yeah. Ah, you've been so good and kind. Yeah. God allowed us. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, he did. God allowed us, yeah. God allowed us to come together. Oh my goodness, one more time. God allowed us to come together one more time. And family, I pray that you don't take that for granted. You know, I don't take it for granted. I mean, I've been singing that every day, man, for over 50 years. Or at least every week, for sure. Every Sunday. For over 50 years, I've been singing that song every Sunday, every week, you know. And I don't take it for granted. I don't get tired of singing it either, you know. And once again, brothers and sisters, another day that Brother Black would say, the Lord has kept me, and I'm glad about it. I feel absolutely wonderful. I feel great, you know, and thank you guys for your words of encouragement, of oh man, you know, testimony. I'm a witness. You know, my daughter wrote a note saying that I'm an example of the fact that God has the final say. You got that right, sweetheart. I sure am. On several occasions, I've been at death's door. But hey, here I am, you know, and I give praise and thanks to the Most High God and to our ancestors for being here today, you know, and talking about that. Let's honor them right now by doing the oath to the ancestors. Let's lift our voices together as we honor those whose life, deeds, legacy, and contribution made it possible for us to be where we are right now. So come on and join us as we say these words.
Oh, ancestors, blacker than 1,000 midnights, African ancestors, it is to you that we, your children, give respect and honor. Oh, ancestors, we call upon you and welcome you in this place. African ancestors, let your presence fill this place. Oh, ancestors, who have been purposely excluded from the history books so that the world would not know of your greatness. Our African ancestors, who gave civilization to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave the arts to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave music to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave sciences to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave mathematics to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave medicine to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave literature to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave philosophy to the world. Our African ancestors, who gave God consciousness to the world. Oh, ancestors, we thank you for devoting your life to make a future for us, your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Now stand with us, strengthen us, guide us, teach us, and protect us from the snare of our enemies. Rise up, O African ancestors, and let our enemies be scattered, and give us the wisdom and the boldness to deal with our oppressors and those who would hinder the liberation and empowerment of our people. Rise up, O African ancestors, and live in us, and we will not fail to honor you. We will not fail to respect you. We will not fail to hear you, and we will not betray you. Ashe.
Yes.
And now, brothers and sisters, we want to take the time to honor just a few of the great Africans who have gone ahead of us.
Yes.
We call forth their great African names and honor them. To pharaohs Narmer, Zoja, Sneferu, Khufu, Khafre, Menkaure, and the great vizier and physician and multi-genius Imhotep, we say Ashe. To Queen Nitocris, Queen Sobek Neferu, Queen Ahotep, Queen Amos Nefertari, Queen King Hatshepsut, Nefertiti, Queen T, and Queen Nefertari II, we say Ashe. To Menkepenra Tahuti Mays, known as Thutmose III, Amenhotep III, Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, Ursama Atra, Setepenra, Rametsu Meriamun, Ramses II, Shabaka, Taharka, Hannibal, and the great African warrior Shaka Zulu, we say Ashe. To all of the kings, queens, priests, and warriors of Nubia, Waset, Ethiopia, Kemet, Kenya, the Congo, Tanzania, Uganda, Central, South, and West Al-Kibu land, we say Ashe. To the more than 600 million Africans whose lives were lost in the European invasions of Africa and in the Middle Passage, we say Ashe. To the more than 300 million who have since lost their lives to racism and hate crimes, we say Ashe. To Harriet Tubman, Ashe. Frederick Douglass, Ashe. Mary McLeod Bethune, Ashe. Nat Turner, Ashe. Fannie Lou Hamer, Ashe. Sojourner Truth, Ashe. Carter G. Woodson, Ashe. Booker T. Washington, Ashe. Dr. Charles Drew, Ashe. Noble Drew Ali, Ashe. Benjamin Banneker, Ashe. George Washington Carver, Ashe. Bishop Richard Allen, Ashe. Bishop Charles Harrison Mason, Ashe. Howard Thurman, Ashe. Mother Mahalia Jackson, Ashe. The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Ashe. Benjamin E. Mays,
Ashe.
Langston Hughes,
Ashe.
Medgar Evers,
Ashe.
Paul Robeson,
Ashe.
Dr. Martin Luther King,
Ashe.
Malcolm X,
Oh, yes.
Thurgood Marshall,
Dr.
Mother
Francis
Clara
Cress
Hale,
Welsing.
Adam Clayton Powell, the Honorable
Dr.
Elijah
Yusef
Muhammad,
Ben-Yahyanan.
Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. John Henrik Clark,
Yes.
Dr. John G. Jackson,
Dr.
Dr.
Asa
Shikota
Hilliard.
Diaz, Dr. Chancellor Williams,
Elder
Dr.
Leroy
George
Jackson.
G. M. James, Patrice
Elder
Lumumba,
Kwame White.
Kwame Ture,
Elder
Kwame
Aaron Williams.
Nkrumah, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, Dr. Jacob
yes.
Carruthers, Dr. Shaka Musa Barashango, Brother Ray Charles,
Brother Lily
to our
Phillips.
mothers and fathers, our grandmothers and grandfathers,
Yes, Dr. Arlene
to our
Gilmore.
great grandmothers and great grandfathers, our brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles,
Randy Wadley.
nieces, nephews, cousins,
James
and all
Wadley,
those who
Howard
have gone
Wadley,
ahead of
Joshua
us
Wadley.
and have made their ancestral
Yes,
transition to their life, deeds,
Oh,
legacy,
yes.
and contributions. We say,
Ashe.
Ashe. Again we say,
Ashe.
Ashe. Again we say,
Ashe.
Ashe.
Yay, yebo, yebo. Come on and join this praise with me. Allahu Akbar. Allah. Allahu Akbar. The English translation of these words: God is great and he's worthy to be praised. I say hallelujah. God is great and he's worthy to be praised. I say hallelujah. So God make us one. We all should be one. And then the unbelievers will come and say, you are with us. God make us one. We all should be one. And then the unbelievers will come and say, you are with us. God make us one. We all should be one. And then the unbelievers will come. They will say, you are with us. Yeah. Oh, family. I literally long for the time that we have every Sunday to come together as we are right now and share with each other in fellowship. Even though it's virtually or by way of internet, I can feel your spirit. I feel your energy. I see you in the present in our chat room there. And to the many of you who have joined me, thank you for joining me as you do every Sunday. You know, thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your loyalty. It's so good to have you guys with me today. You're the ones who keep me going and giving me the strength to do this, you know. So I thank you so very much. Thank you very much. To those of you who are first-time visitors with us, welcome, welcome. And a very special shout out to my friend and sister down there in Florida, Sister Monique, okay, who listens to me every week. And I said a couple of weeks I was going to give you a shout out. And so I'm doing it today because I forgot to do it then. Thank you for listening, sister. Thank you for letting other folk know about what we're doing, this ministry. And that's how we grow, by word of mouth, you know. So thank you, Sister Monique, for you know, your support. And to your cousin, Sister Vixen, thank you, Vixen, for your support as well. To all of you, family, to all of you, especially to those of you here in the chat room, thank you for your support and being with us every week. To the brothers and sisters of African villages all over the place, headquarters, okay, Youngstown, to Detroit, Chicago, Brooklyn, New York, Charleston, South Carolina, you know, Memphis, Tennessee, you know, hey, man, just all of you guys, thank you for being who you are. Thank you for loving me down through the years, and thank you for just keeping me uplifted. Yeah, with your prayers of support, man, that means a lot. I had a brother one day say, man, I don't have the funds to support like I want to because child support keeps eating up my check. I said, brother, your presence means everything. Just having you here, just knowing that you're here means everything. That's called moral support. And that's way more important many times than financial support. So the very fact that you're here and spreading the word and telling others about what we're doing, that means everything. That means it all. So thank you for everything you guys have been, to Brother Ray. Thank you for, again, strengthening me with your prayers. As you can see, I'm doing quite well, doing very, very well, in fact. And as I've been saying, I can't wait. I go to back for my checkup tomorrow at the VA, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the nephrologist there who told me I wouldn't last a month if I didn't follow their advice. I can't wait to see them. I can't wait to let them see how well I'm doing, by not listening to what they had to say. And I don't mean that's something you should do. Please don't take that across the board. I'm not saying that you should not take the advice of your doctor or your medical professional. I am not saying that. Okay. What I'm saying is what I chose to do at that particular moment. My spirit just said no. That's all. And because I listened to my spirit, I'm doing well. I'm doing fine. I'm doing good. In fact, I couldn't be doing better. Really, I mean that. I've never felt better, So I give all praise and thanks to the Most High and to my family for your prayers, your love, your support, to our friends, to everybody, man. Just thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Well, of course, I want to get to the teaching today, and I don't want to waste any more time doing that because we got a lot to teach, okay? Now, let me give you the heads up on this. I'm going to have to be patient with myself today. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm going to be reading a lot of Bible verses today, and I'm learning. I shouldn't say I'm learning. I know what a second grade teacher must feel like, who has a master's in education, but has to talk to children on a second grade level every day. But the job of the teacher is to go to the level of the student and prepare them for their next level in their development. Okay. So many of our people are Bible bound. Okay. We've been trained that way. We've been programmed that way. And you'll see why today as I teach this. And for those who keep asking, well, if you know the Bible is not the word of God, if you know the Bible is not true, why do you keep referring to it? Because the masses of my people are still stuck there. Okay. And because they hold the Bible as the final court of appeal, I have to use their source of authority to show them the error. Understand that. Okay. So I've been trained to do that. And I thank the Most High and our ancestors for working that out too. Okay. So let's prepare our hearts to get ready for the teaching today. Okay. Oh yeah, man, this is going to be good. Yeah. And of course, you see, that's our brand. That's our logo there. Established in 1998, February of 1998 is when we actually were incorporated at that time as the New Ephesus Missionary Baptist Church. And 3 years later, we changed the name to the African Village. Yep. And that's our brand. All right. I always start my teachings off with these words. And of course, you're going to really need it today. I usually ask people to make a circle like this and say these words. So you can join me at this time in doing that. Okay. Here's what it says. The space inside this circle represents my realm of knowledge. All that I think I know about whatever I think I know is depicted right here within this circle. I must keep in mind that there is more to know than what is within the circumference of my awareness. Why do I start my teachings off like that? Because we all have a circumference of awareness that we acquired as we grew through the years. Okay. And it's recorded on our reticular activating system. That's where our circumference of awareness is. And a lot of times when we hear something that's outside of our circumference of awareness, we're uncomfortable with it. And we have a tendency to resist it or reject it. So I'm asking you today, if you want to learn, okay, don't reject what I'm saying. If you have a problem with it, make a note of it, okay? Do the research. And if I'm in error, show me my error and I'll make my correction, okay? But trust me, I've done a lot of research on it already. Got me? So let's move on here. Okay. Why do I teach? Okay, well, the aim of this message today is to begin the process of undoing or reversing ideas and concepts that have been programmed into the minds of our people by the religious statements and church doctrines that have caused us as a people to adopt a belief system that has resulted in our loss of contact with what is real, our loss of contact with what is factual, our loss of contact with what is historical, but most of all, our loss of contact with what is spiritual. And that's why I do what I do, okay? Trying to return us to where we should be. And always remember this. I had to start including this as well, especially for you religious leaders, okay, who have gained all that you have gained by the lies that you have preached. What are you going to do now? All right, well, remember this. When you have told so many lies over the centuries, as the systems have done, that telling the truth about one of your early foundational lies and all the lies that have been defensively piled on top of it, if you want to keep your power, okay, and maintain your empire, then you must continue to lie. Just that simple, okay? When your control and your power over another person's reality is based on the lies about who you are and what they are, you can never tell the truth. Understand this, okay? Understand this. All right, moving on. Today, I want to talk to you from this subject, and you probably heard me say this many times over the years, okay? But today, I'm actually entitling my message today with these words. He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. Okay? I remember when ancestors gave me those words. It's, wow, that's powerful. But that's the truth in one sentence. He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. And what was the first printed book that we had printed in English? The Gutenberg Bible. That was the first book printed in English. Okay, the Gutenberg Bible. All right, and understand that every Bible that is an offshoot of the Gutenberg Bible has the same message in it as the Gutenberg Bible. Okay? Keep that in mind as we go through this today. Oh my goodness. If you don't mind, I'm gonna just leave my notes up here, okay? And I don't mean to insult your intelligence, but there are some people, believe it or not, who cannot read. All right? So just bear with me as I go through this. And of course, I will probably ad-lib somewhere in here and there. But have you ever had the experience of walking into a mystery movie 2/3 of the way through it? All right? Not knowing what's going on, confusing, right? Well, all of the evidence at that point when you walked in made it look as if the butler was the murderer. But in the final scenes, you found out, surprisingly, that it was the man's wife all along who killed him. You know, I've actually been in movies where I had to just stay until the replay started so I could catch up and make some sense of it all, you know? So you had to see the beginning of the film. Then as the pieces begin to fall into place, then it all makes sense to me. Well, this is the situation that so many millions of our people, especially here in America, find themselves in today. Brothers and sisters, we are confused by current events in our nation. Okay? In other words, we don't know the historicity behind where we are. We don't know what happened to lead up to where we are. And it's so important for us to get the backdrop. Okay? We are gradually opening our eyes to what's going on. That reminds me of Marvin Gaye's song, What's Going On? One of my favorite songs. Even though the program that we're involved in is coming to a conclusion. Oh yeah, man, Magog's time is just about up. You may want to call it the last days. Okay, well, I've been hearing that since I was a boy too, so I don't know how long the last days are supposed to be. But because we don't know about what happened in the beginnings of their agenda, the beginnings of their program, we're not really seeing what's going on from the right perspective. Understand this, okay? And in order to understand the satanic agenda, or if you want me to say the word set, because that's where Satan comes from, set again, the Setian agenda, it's necessary to have some rudimentary knowledge of what took place earlier on. Now, let's begin by laying the proper foundation here. We owe it to ourselves to lay the proper foundation. We owe it to our children to take the time to go back and find out what happened. We owe it to our heritage to take the time to go back, okay, and find out what happened. We owe it to our ancestors to identify the forces behind these matters of conspiracy. And yes, brothers and sisters, we're talking about a conspiracy here. All right? Now, a lot of you who don't know any better, you call it prophecy being fulfilled. I used to call it that too, okay? But as I began to learn better, I understood that what a lot of people call prophecy, I learned is just well laid out plans of the ruling elite. And what people call prophecy fulfilling itself, I found out is just the agenda of the ruling elite being carried out by their offspring, right, by their future generations. Because they plan like that. We're talking about a people that plan 3 and 4 and 5 generations down the road. Okay. And it's hard for some of us to grasp, man, because a lot of us are just trying to get to the end of the month. So we can't even wrap our minds around the fact that here's a people who can literally plan out world affairs, okay, 30, 40, 50 years ahead. But that's what we're dealing with here, okay? And people calling it prophecy being fulfilled. The Bible said this was going to happen. Well, so did the protocols of Zion say these things are going to happen. And for those who don't know what the protocols of Zion are, write that down. Protocols of Zion. It's also called the protocols of the wise elders of Zion. Okay, these are the minutes of a meeting that were held by some powerful Jewish men of how they plan to take over the world. Okay, and if you read the protocols of Zion, you would also call it the Bible or the Word of God, because it's very accurate in its predictions. Okay, not prophecies, predictions, because they planned it. Got it? As one person said, the best way to predict something is to plan it. Okay? So for us to do anything less, brothers and sisters, than to identify the forces behind this conspiracy, for us to do anything less would be a portrayal of the labors of great men and women who have died for the struggle of our people, and a betrayal of African people continuous struggle to liberate ourselves from white oppression and domination. And as we say an oath to the ancestors, I will not betray you. No, man. Any African whose eyes have been opened to what's really going on and who is trying to open the eyes of others is in an uphill battle. Okay? Yeah, man. This is a fight. I mean, it's a labor of love fight. Okay, you have to love our people to do this. Trust me, okay? You really have to love our people to do this, okay? But any African whose eyes have truly been opened must piece together sometime tiny parts of a puzzle to understand the whole picture here, okay? And yet the African Ma'akaru pushes on, gathering enough evidence to uncover the truth. And a Ma'akaru is a truth speaker. The person whose views and knowledge of America society are confined to and primarily shaped by school books. Follow what I'm saying here. The person whose views and knowledge of American society are confined to and primarily shaped by school books. Okay, this person's thinking has been shaped by television, shaped by newspapers, shaped by an occasional documentary that you might see. Those of us who used to think like that, you're going to have a difficult time believing that there are literally factions within the United States government that would orchestrate criminal activities and conspiracies. Okay, understand this, man. That's right. There are actually factions in this government that literally conspires to kill people, conspires to go to war with other nations. Okay? Look at John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, former Secretary of Commerce Ron Brown. Okay? All of these were government assassinations, family, and others. Okay? I just named some domestic ones here. Okay? We can go home, talk about how they end up getting rid of Mugabe. Okay? And Gaddafi. Okay? Because they had to stop the agenda of African empowerment. Yes. And people say, no, not our government. Well, don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to break it down to you in a minute. And the reason why people say not our government, no, because to think like that literally would contradict and defy your education, or I should say your programming and your socialization. Okay? Most of the people in the United States, for example, are still unaware of the fact that this government has a history, okay, of committing murder and other brutal acts against not just foreign countries, but even our own citizens. Don't take my word for what I'm saying. Take a moment right now. If you can pull up a separate window, okay, and without losing the sound here. Don't just close this window or go away from it because you'll lose the stream. Okay, but diminish this window, pull up a second window. If you can't do that, then don't worry about it. Come back later. Okay, but Google the words Operation Northwoods. Don't take my word for it. Just Google the words Operation Northwoods. Okay? And you say, well, Brother Ray, what was Operation Northwoods? Operation Northwoods. Well, Operation Northwoods, brothers and sisters, I thought I'd put it here for you, okay? But you'll see it. Operation Northwoods was literally a plan by the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
okay, to wage war against Cuba under John F. Kennedy's administration. Yes, okay, under what's called Black Flag operations. Black flag operation is when this government or any other government commits a crime or an atrocity and blames it on somebody else, such as the destruction of the World Trade Towers, 9/11. Got what I'm saying? Okay. When this government does something and blames it on somebody else, that's called a black flag operation. So because of the success of the black flag operation, a lot of people think Osama bin Laden was behind that. Okay. That's called black flag operation or black flag op. You know, in my dealings with people and trying to reach them with my research, y'all, you know, it's been like as though some huge force was pressing down on the people I'm trying to talk to, you know, and penetrated their skull and battering against their brain, frightening them out of their natural beliefs, man, you know, persuading them to deny the evidence of their senses, their common sense at that. You know, but that's what teachers go through. We go through that, you know, and this occurs because our people have been stripped of their identity and redirected to definitions provided by those who created and left a legacy of suppression for us to follow. But we got to get it right, family. We must direct our energies toward the recreation of cultural alternatives informed by ancestral visions. Understand this, ancestral visions of a future that celebrates our Africanness and educes the African warrior and scholar and teacher and griot and mother and father and sister and brother and builder that is in each of us to come forth. Because a lot of our power has been suppressed because of the programming that they put on us, man. Okay, but it's time for us to Sankofa. Each of the cultures that have been historically victimized by Europe must reclaim its own image. Understand this. We have to reclaim our image instead of depending on the image that's been presented to us by another culture that doesn't represent us at all, but represents that culture that wants to be superior over other cultures. As for those of us who are African, our salvation, and when I say salvation, I mean our redemption, our liberation, our empowerment lies in our realizing and connecting to our ancientness. And I don't mean that in a romanticized glorification of the past, but in a return to the center in which all contradictions are resolved and from which the spiral of development can continue with clarity in each of us. From a proper center, we will have right icons and symbols that can be retrieved in our image that will show us to tap the energy of the collective conscious will of our people. Images like the Ankh instead of the cross. Images like the Jinyame instead of the yin yang. You understand? They copied the yin yang from this right here, family. Yeah. So we have to return to that which looks like us. We have to return to that which looks like us, which came from us. You see, those in power, brothers and sisters,
are part of a long legacy of domination that reaches as far back as the Greeks, all the way back to Philip of Macedonia, the father of Alexander the Greek. And notice I said Alexander the Greek. I don't call him Alexander the Great. There was nothing great about him, not in my opinion. He's Alexander the Greek, Philip's son. They're not rookies, brothers and sisters. They've been at this for a long time. I'm talking about a pattern of control and imperialism that can be traced back to the foundations of European history, or their history, that they want us to think is our history. And I have to admit, y'all, it's a welcomed struggle. It's a struggle, but it's a welcomed struggle. At least to me, it's a welcomed struggle to eradicate the ideology of domination that permeates this Western culture. Okay, as well as a commitment to reorganizing our society so that the self-development and self-empowerment of our people can take precedence over culturalism, cultural imperialism, economic expansion, and material desires that's been shaped by things like the Institute. I can't call it now. That shapes our thinking. The Institute that tells us what clothes to wear. The Institute that modifies the styles that they implement into our communities. Yeah, man, we got some work to do. You see, one of the most effective ways to suppress a people is by putting a device in place that will dissociate those people from their God, from their spirituality, from their culture, and from their history. This is one of the most powerful traps that have been used against us as a people by punishing those who have any sense of ethnic, or rewarding those who have any identity with their oppressors. The powers that be are able to confuse and dissuade resistance to their cultural, spiritual, and economic rule by rewarding what y'all been calling Uncle Toms, by rewarding those who have been trained to train our own people for the oppressor. I say this, y'all, because I used to be one. But the ancestors rescued me. Yes, gave me the right mind. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. And that's why I want to use what I've learned to free your mind. Understand, y'all, at no point in history have any oppressed people been passive toward their exploitation and degradation. At no point in history. And the more I look at us, the more I see how complacent we are becoming within the programming that's been forced on us. Okay? So it's been to the advantage of the ruling elite to study our historical resistance and develop new ways of stifling our resistance. Yes, they study how we act when we don't like something. They studied our reactions. They studied what is the word I'm looking for? They study, instead of our proactivity, they study how we react to things, because we have not exercised proactivity as we ought to. So we scream, we fight, we destroy our own communities, we march, we protest, instead of understanding that marching and protesting is activity that powerless people engage in, hoping that powerful people will have pity on them. Did you get that? Let me say it to you again. Marching and fussing and destroying your own community and protesting is activity that powerless people engage in, hoping that powerful people will have pity on them. The mistake that we've made, brothers and sisters, is to associate a certain atrocity or illustration of oppression to an entity that we have not identified. That entity is called Satan. The devil sure is busy. How many of y'all heard things like that? Oh, the devil is busy. I keep talking to Christians who keep saying stuff like that. And I'm trying to understand why y'all keep saying that the devil is busy. Because he is busy. But y'all keep telling me he was defeated on the cross. So if he's defeated, how can he be so busy? Y'all get the picture? Okay, let me go. I'm getting ready to upset some people here. Okay? Understand, brothers and sisters, but that those currently in power did not come into power accidentally. It was passed on and handed down to them in order to ensure conformity with the existing master narrative. As you heard me say, we're talking about a people who plan stuff generations down the road. I'm talking about a people who sat in a room a couple of 100 years ago and decided what should be today. That's how they work. I'll never forget. I shared this illustration years ago when I was living in New Jersey. I had a meeting with the brother who worked at the Panasonic Corporation. And we met in the boardroom of the Matsushita, I think I'm saying it right, Matsushita Corporation. I'm almost confusing with Mitsubishi, but it's not. I think it's Matsushita or something like that. And that's when I learned that Panasonic and all these other Japanese companies are under one umbrella. They're their own competition. I said, wow, that's smart. Okay. But when we went into the boardroom to have our meeting, I noticed that all four walls were books that had identical bindings almost. So I asked him, I said, man, what it all, is this a library? And he said, no, man. He said, that is I think he said the 20-year plan or the 50-year plan or the 100. I forgot what year he said. I believe he said the 20-year plan of the Matsushita Corporation. I still get it wrong. Matsushita Corporation. And he said, and everybody in management must regularly come in here and go through these manuals. That's their system. That's how the Japanese are so in power. What's our plan? What's our 20, 30-year agenda? What is it? Where is it written down at that we can go and read? I have a book here called Blueprint for Black America, okay, by the late great Amos Wilson. Okay, let's make that our agenda. Awesome book, Blueprint for Black America. He already put it out there for us. Every Black person in this country needs to be reading this book. Understand that. We don't have a system in place for our empowerment. Trying to, okay? We're trying to get there. Okay? But think about it, brothers and sisters. Would it really make sense for the ruling elite to blindly hope that a new prospect will continue the legacy of control and domination as opposed to a sort of imperialistic, capitalistic nepotism? Of course not. They had to strategize this out, not just sit back and hope that the Lord will make a way somehow. Okay? Those in power didn't do that. They didn't sit back and sing, I know the Lord will make a way somehow. No, they sat down and strategized. When this country dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the Japanese didn't start picking up signs and protesting, talking about, we shall overcome. No, we shall overcome. No, they didn't carry one sign. They sat down in the boardroom. And now look how powerful they are. This country dropped bombs on them, and now they own most of the land over here. Yeah, family. What happened to us? Here's what happened to us right here. Here's what happened to us. Notice this picture very well. I use this picture a lot in my lectures because I want you to understand how our programming began, when it began. A litany of the Roman Catholic Church says, give us your children until they are 6, and then they're ours forever. Again, planning, long-term planning. What's the strategy that we've put in place for our children? Where is it? Send them to Sunday school. Right. Why do you think Sunday school is so stressed so strongly? They don't really care about the parents. It's get the children. Sunday school, Sunday school, Sunday school. And vacation Bible school. For who? The children. That's the agenda. Give us your children till they're 6, and then they're ours forever. And notice what she has the little child writing there. JESUS. That's the agenda. I remember as a child reciting things like, my Bible is a precious book. I read it every day. Now, mind you, I couldn't read, but I was taught this song. It teaches me the truth of God and shows me how to pray. My Bible tells me how to live and how to serve my Lord. My Bible and I, we will never part. I'll read it every day, but I can't read. My Bible and I, we will never part. I'll keep it close to me. That's what I was taught as a child. The programming. Understand this, man. You know, I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, and hide his words in my heart that I might not sin against God. The programming. Saying that at 4 and 5 and 6 years old. And it's deep because then when I became a grown man and had my own school, I was teaching my children, our children, in our community, the same programming. Every day to start off the day. Going through the Christian flag. Pledging to the Christian flag. Pledging to the Bible. Know why? Because I hadn't challenged what I had been taught. But one day, when it was God's time for my mind to be freed, oh man, I was introduced to a concept, an idea, a thought that the original virgin-born Christ was named Horus of Egypt. And yes, I resisted. I retaliated with a vengeance. Almost to the point of physically fighting with my fist. The brother who said that to me, only to find out 3 years later that the brother was telling me the truth. And as I furthered my research, I saw how everything I had been programmed from a child was stolen, copied, and plagiarized from our ancient Nile Valley Africans and represented back to us under another ethnicity for the purpose of cultural imperialism. Yeah, man. So today, if you don't mind, we're going to go through their program, okay? I got to move quickly here because I got a lot of Bible verses to read to show you how they programmed you. And then the one Bible verse at the end I'm going to give you is going to be like a bowling pin knocking down bowling ball knocking down bowling pins. Let's get into this. You've heard of this guy named Abraham, right? Who first his name, according to the Bible, was Abram. All right. Well, let's start there. Let's start there. Since these people who gave us all this, okay, he supposedly is their father. Let's start there. Let's start by asking the question, what God spoke to Abram? See, I never asked that question. I just grew up understanding the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jehovah, Yahweh. Yeah. I grew up preaching it because that's what I was taught. That's what was put in my reticular activating system. I didn't stop at one time in my growing up years to ask what God spoke to Abram. Why is that question so important? Because Abram was an idol worshiper. He was not a worshiper of the so-called true and living God. According to the Bible, it says in Genesis, the 12th chapter, I hope you guys don't mind my reading this, but for those who cannot read, okay, and for those of you who don't have your Bibles handy, I want you to see what it says. Now the Lord, in this verse, the word Lord is Jehovah, Jehovah. But how did Jehovah speak to Abraham? Abraham wasn't a worshiper of Jehovah. Abraham was an idol worshiper. Abraham's father, Terah, that's what he had a shop where he just made idols. That's what he did. He was an idol worshiper. And that's how Abraham grew up, making idols. So this God that's a foreigner to Abram, supposedly, right, says, get thee out of thy country, from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. Second verse, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee. And now check this part here. This strange God says to Abram, I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you going to be a blessing. This strange God that Abraham does not know goes on to say, and I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. And in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham departed as this strange God had said to him, and Lot went with him, and Abraham was 75 years old when he left out of Haran. Or Haran. Isn't this deep? This God says to Abram, right? And that's where they get this cultural superiority from and racial superiority thing here. Okay, that the Jews are such more better or the chosen people because of this lie right here. Yes, this lie right here. Listen, before I go any further, let me share something with you. Okay? The best way to control the world is to write something down and convince the world that what you wrote came from God. That's what happened right here, y'all. Okay? And you know why this is so powerful? Because you believe it. Challenge it. Ask the question, what God spoke to Abram? Ask the doggone question. God's not going to get you. Okay? What God said to Abram, whoever blesses you, I'm going to bless them. And whoever curses you, I'm going to curse them. What better way to secure control over the rest of the world than to tell them that God said such a thing? Continuing on. You say, well, why you say that Abram was an idol worshiper? Because it says right there in your Bible, Joshua 24:2, it says, and Joshua said unto all the people, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time, even Terah, the father of Abraham. Okay, and the father of Nechor. And they served other gods. They were idol worshipers. So don't take Brother Ray's word. Your Bible is telling you that Abraham came from a family of idol worshipers. That's how they grew up. That's why I asked what God spoke to Abraham. Abraham was an idol worshiper. And then to top it off, see again, y'all, man, understand this. I'm not trying to, for those of you who are Bible lovers, I don't mean no harm to you. I'm not trying to Bible bash. I'm trying to show you in the literature that they gave to you how it's designed to control you. Understand this. Understand this. Again, what is their strategy? Write down something and give it to the world and make the world think it came from God. Write down what we want, give it to the people, and make the people think it came from God. Okay? I don't know how many of you saw the movie The Book of Eli, starring Denzel Washington, right? Okay? In this movie, Denzel has a book, a Bible. And of course, he's going through this town. And for many of you who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, right? The dude who's running everything is sending people out all over the world searching for a Bible. Okay, and they ask him, man, what's so special about this book? And he literally says, because with that book, I can control the world. So what they did is they wrote a book. In fact, in the opening song, G said it. With the stroke of a pen, they wrote many a laws for all of their. What it said, and then they gave us a book they called the Bible. He said, black man, black woman, read it and believe. And then he said, but I know the truth. Yeah, I've got the victory. So I'm trying to show you the truth today, right here in your book. So what happens now? Abraham leaves out of his hometown simply because this strange God spoke to him. All right. And how did he speak to him? Just a voice out of the atmosphere or what? Because you got real deep people that believe in that. This voice just spoke out of a burning bush, and Moses went. So here we got Abraham. Where does he go? All right, because Abraham said, I don't know where I'm going. God said, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you as you go. So Abraham ends up in Canaan. Why Canaan? Why Canaan? Because according to biblical literature, and notice how I said that. I said according to biblical literature, not according to world history, according to the literature that they wrote and got you thinking it's world history. Got me? Okay, according to biblical literature, Canaan, all right, is one of the grandson of Noah. Got me? Canaan was supposedly, now mind you, none of these people actually existed. They exist in literature. But Noah had a son called Ham, which is the so-called literary progenitor of African people. Okay, Ham, Shem is the so-called literary progenitor of Jewish and Arab people.
and Japheth is supposedly the so-called literary progenitor of the European. You understand this? Okay. So there's no progenitor of the Asian and Aboriginal and that's another lecture another time, but we'll get there. Okay. Trying to get you to start thinking, brothers and sisters. So where does Abraham end up? He ends up in Canaan. Why Canaan? Because Canaan was a land, as your Bible tells you, flowing with milk and honey. Now, here's a man, okay, who's a nobody, who's a nothing, but he ends up in Canaan, in a land flowing with milk and honey. And God, and again, Canaan is supposedly this land of Black African people. Got me? And God tells Abram, I'm going to give you their land. Yeah, ain't that deep? Okay, so let's read what it says. And Abram took Sarah, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh. And the Canaanite was in the land. These Africans were already there. 7th verse. And the Lord appeared unto Abram again. Man, all these appearances here, right? And said, check this part out. Unto thy seed will I give this land. So God is just going to go and take somebody's land and give it to somebody else. God's just going to go into Canaan, this land flowing with milk and honey, and give it to this dude who hasn't done anything, and give it to him and his seed or his offspring or his future generations. So you see where they got the idea of invading other lands from? Got it from their own Bible. That God is okay with that. And guess what they call it, by the way? They call that manifest destiny. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Manifest destiny. Manifest destiny is the European doctrine that God has destined the white man to rule the world. And that doctrine is called manifest destiny. And that's what they use to justify going into other lands and taking by military force other lands. And there's their foundation for it right there. I will give you this land, and there builded he an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. Manifest destiny. Well, Abram goes into Egypt now, right? After coming out of Canaan, he goes into Egypt as a deceiver. That's right. That's right. This great man, that this whole Judeo-Christian religious thought, Jewish, Christian, Islam, all of it comes from this so-called Abrahamic patriarch here. Well, let me tell you about this deceiver, this patriarch. Abraham, according to Genesis 12:9, again, none of this happened, y'all. None of this ever happened in the first place. Okay, I'm sharing this with you because for those of us who think it did happen, okay, for those who believe it did happen, I have to show you the flaws here in their story. Okay, Genesis, the 12th chapter, the 9th verse. And somebody's going to say, even if there is flaws, I'm going to believe it anyway. Remind me of this man I had a debate with in Nashville. Okay, we were at Vanderbilt. And I can't remember the doctor's name now. It's amazing how when you start getting up in age, man, things just don't come to you as fast as they used to. At any rate, I do remember what he said at the end of the debate. In his closing remarks, he said, Dr. Hagins has said some wonderful things to give some ponder to. But I choose to believe what I believe. When he said that, I was done. You know why? Okay. Once you say you choose to believe something, there's nothing else to be said, man, to it. All the evidence I can, no matter how much evidence I show you, you are choosing to ignore, and that's the root word of ignorant. You're choosing to ignore the evidence, and because you are ignorant, you are being destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. You're ignorant in that area. So notice what it goes on to say here. Abraham, Genesis 12:9 says, and Abram journeyed along, going on still toward the south, and there was a famine in the land. So to keep from starving, this deceiver went down to Egypt to sojourn there. And the famine was grievous in the land. Notice the 11th verse. And it came to pass when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said to his wife, now, if you don't allow me, I'm going to translate this here, right? He said, baby, listen, you are fine as I don't know what. Okay, and when we go into Egypt, the men are going to see how fine you are, and they're going to want you, okay? And what they'll do is they'll kill me just so that he can have you. Understand that, right? So because you're so fine, when the Egyptian men see you, tell them that you are my sister. I'm sorry, tell them. Yeah, that's right. I got it right. Okay. If they see it says if they see that this is his wife, they'll kill him, right? But they'll keep you so they can have you to themselves. So tell him you're my sister. Okay. So what this man is actually doing here now is he's going to prostitute his wife to save his own skin. Yeah. So say to the men, I pray thee, you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake. He just contradicted himself. So it may be well with me for your sake. And my soul shall live because of thee. Got me? In other words, they're not going to do me any harm if they think that you're my sister. 14th verse. And it came to pass that when Abram was coming to Egypt, the Egyptians beheld that she was very fair. 15th verse. And the princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commended her to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh took her into his house, and he treated Abraham well for her sake. And notice what it says. And Pharaoh gave Abraham sheep, gave him oxen, gave him asses, gave him men servants, gave him maid servants, gave him she asses, and gave him camels. In other words, this man who was a nothing became something through deceit in Egypt, according to their own story. Got me? That's right. And notice what it goes on to say. Now, this is their story. See, y'all understand how deep this goes. I'm trying to patiently go through this because, see, I know that none of this ever happened in the first place. But again, I'm trying to get you to follow the story here so you can see that it doesn't make any sense. Get it clear in your head, right? And the Lord plagued Pharaoh in his house with great plagues because of Sarah, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that you've done to me, man? Why did you not tell me that this was your wife? 19th verse. Why did you say this? Why did you say that she's your sister so that I might have taken her to be my wife? Now get out of here, man. Behold, take your wife and get out of here. Go get out of here. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away and his wife and all that he had gained while he was in Egypt.
Pharaoh could have at least said, man, give me my stuff back and get out of here. No, Pharaoh said, get out of here. And everything I gave you, take that with you and just get out of here. So Abram left Egypt a rich man. He came into Egypt a poor man, nothing. But he left a rich man. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. And Abraham was very rich in cattle and silver and in gold. Do you see how this man that you believe was so great, according to their own story, was a deceiver, a liar? Well, he had 2 sons, right? Jacob and Esau. Genesis 25, 19 through 22. It goes, and these are the generations of Isaac, right? Now, of course, you understand how this goes, right? Abraham had a son called Isaac, and Isaac had a son or 2 sons called Jacob and Esau. You've heard the phrase, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Well, now understand the lineage here. That's right. Understand this lineage that stems from a lie. Now, of course, I know it never happened, but for those of you who think that it did happen, understand what stemmed from this lie that you believe. Okay? And these are the generations of Isaac, Abram's son. Abraham begot Isaac. 20th verse. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban, the Syrian. 21st verse. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren or couldn't have children, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah had conceived. 22nd verse. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? God, in other words, if you mean for me to have children, why am I going through all this trauma here? These twins inside me about to kill me. Why am I going through this? And she went to inquire of the Lord, right? Genesis 25. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. And notice how they, in their literature, okay, created the genesis of disharmony between the Jews and the Arabs. Understand here what's going on, right? Because 2 nations are in thy womb. And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one the people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Got this? And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like an angry, hairy garment, right? And they called his name Esau. 26th verse. And after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. So here you have the birth of these twins, okay, Jacob and Esau. Notice how we've been taught to say Jacob first, but actually it's Esau who came out first, right? But we've been taught to say Jacob first because in this story, Jacob is the one who's blessed. Jacob is the one whose name was changed to Israel. All right. And the seed is supposed to go to the Israelites. Y'all see how see how literature has controlled the thinking of the people here? Again, today's message is he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. You honestly believe that 2 babies came out called Esau and Jacob, and you honestly were trained to believe that Jacob was the blessed one and Esau was the cursed one. And this belief system grew up in you, and to people to this day are at odds with each other. And after that came his brother out too, right? Notice what it goes on to say. Genesis 25, 27 to 28. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat his venison, or because he liked the way his daddy cooked. Right? Come on. And Rebekah loved Jacob. Now here's the deep thing about it, right? Rebekah loved Jacob more than Esau. So Jacob became the chosen one, the offspring of Jacob. 25th verse, 30th verse, 25th chapter, 30th verse. This is what, I'm not making this up. This is what your Bible says. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom, or Edomite, meaning imposter. Yeah, right? So these people who came from Edom are imposter Jews, like the Khazars and the Ashkenazim that you heard me talk about a few weeks ago. I'm still getting email on that, by the way. Okay, we're dealing with the imposter Jews here, right? So Edom was an imposter. So therefore, Jacob was the one of promise, right? Think about this. The first time the word Israel is even used in the Bible, in the 32nd chapter of Genesis, we go on here, right? And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. Now the story here, okay, is an angel supposedly wrestled with Jacob. And Jacob said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Now, here again, the story, right? Again, when you don't have a past, you can write down anything to supplement the facts of your existence. And that's what these people did. And gave it to the world and told them it came from God. And so the world believes that this is what happened in history. None of this happened. Not one thing we're reading happened in world history. Not one thing, right? So Jacob wrestled with this angel all night long, and because Jacob would not let go and defeated the angel, God supposedly said to Jacob, thy name shall now be called, no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince that has power with God and with men, and has prevailed over the angel. Right? 35th chapter, the 10th verse. And God said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. Now, where did Israel even comes from? Huh? Is for Isis, Ra, this God, the Son, El, the Son of God. That comes from the woman. This is some heavy stuff, y'all. They still had to steal a concept out of Egypt. Then, of course, we got this whole thing. Salvation is of the Jews. You were raised to believe that? Yeah, salvation came from these people who spawned out of a lie. Huh? Well, don't get too bent out of shape about it, because none of it happened anyway. Okay? But I have to use your source, okay? Your final court of appeal, believer, your final court of appeal, to show you the problem here. Now, since you believe that the Bible is the final court of appeal and whatever it says is true, then you've also heard that the Bible says in John 4:22, salvation is of the Jews. In other words, if it wasn't for the Jews, there would be no such thing as salvation for mankind. Right? Because all of this stems from Abraham, right? Well, let's turn now to Galatians 4:22 and 20 through 24. And here's what it says.
For it is written, stop right there. Stop right there. It didn't say it actually happened. It says, for it is written. Understand, that's everything, family, when it comes to dealing with literature. It didn't say it happened. It says, for it is written. In other words, this is the story. Okay? It's almost like it's being said, once upon a time, we are told it was such and such. Doesn't mean it happened. I'm making up a story here. It goes on to say, for it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid and the other by a free woman. Of course, y'all should know that bondmaid son is called Ishmael, right? The so-called father of the Arabs. And he had another son called Isaac, the so-called son of promise. Right? It's telling you, man. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, or born in sin, because Abraham took it upon himself to have sex with her because he didn't want to trust God because Sarah was old. That's the story. Got me? He so he said to God, how's Sarah gonna have a baby? She's old. She's 80-year-old woman. I'm 90-year-old man. Okay, so he with his 90-year-old self, right, went in and had sex, or was 80 years old, somewhere up in there, and he went and had sex with this bondwoman, this Egyptian woman, right, who bore him a son, Ishmael. And that's interesting, right? How did this so-called Hebrew named Abraham have sex with an Egyptian and give birth to an Arab? Doesn't even make sense. But it goes on to say, but he who was of the free woman was of the promise, which things are an allegory. 24th verse, 24th chapter of Galatians. Plain as day. It says it right there. Everything that we've read about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, everything starting with Abraham, it's an allegory. Don't take my word for it. I told you last week how to use the Strong's Concordance. Look it up. It comes from the Greek word allegoreo, which means it didn't happen. It's an illustration used to make a point. Yes, their Bible, your own Bible, says in Galatians, the 4th chapter, the 24th verse, that this whole thing about Abraham is an allegory. Yes, forgive me for taking all that time to go through all that, but I had to get you to see all of that so you can come to this blockbuster here at the end to let you know that it all a lie in the first place. It never happened. Their own Bible says it never happened. It's an allegory. Yes, I know that just shocked the hell out of a lot of y'all. Galatians 4:24 says that the entire story about Abraham and Hagar and Sarah and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob and is an allegory. It never happened. So if Abraham is an allegory, Isaac never existed either. If Isaac never existed, Jacob could have never existed. If Jacob could have never existed, the 12 tribes of Israel could not have existed. And by the way, Jacob's name became Israel, right? So there was no Israel, which means that the whole Old Testament is not historical fact according to their Bible. Now, I know some people right now are boiling. I don't care. Boil. I hope you get cooked real well.
I got to set you free, man. I know that it's a painful process. I've been there. The process is painful. Yes. Surgery is painful. The lie being cut away, the fat of the lie being cut away. It's got to be painful. But I got to free your African mind. Okay? All this is a lie that we've been programmed to believe. Y'all have no idea how painful that was for me to come to grips with. To the one true and living God, y'all bear with me as I do this. And to the ancestors, to those right now who are hurting, help them, strengthen them, comfort them. Some right now are going through serious emotional conniptions. I know their pain. But you got me through the transition. You can get them through it too. Ashe. You ever hear the phrase, if I can do it, you can do it? Yeah, brothers and sisters, no one has ever been more sold out to the lie of Christian thought than I was. Okay? I would die for what I was raised on to believe. Now I know better. I'm so glad that the Most High God held on to me in my ignorance and was patient with me through my transition. It didn't just happen in a week, family. No, it took me 5 years of pain, of intense pain, ongoing nonstop pain for 5 years before coming to grips with the fact that I had been lied to. 5 years of research trying to prove this new information wrong. And the more research I did, the more I realized I had been lied to. The more I realized that everything I had been teaching had been copied and stolen and from my ancient African ancestors. Yeah. That's why I said, he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. Age comes from the word aeon, meaning this world system, not cosmos, not the globe. When I say this age, I mean this time, this period of time. He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age or this period of time. Yeah. And what did they give us to control our thinking? The number one book, the first book printed in English, a Bible. Well, brothers and sisters, it's time for me to get out of here. Okay? I trust that the teaching today, although I'm sure it was painful for so many, hey, man, you know, I thought I was finished, man. Thought I was finished. Okay, let me rush here and finish this. The European and other cultural historiographers knew that their literary and symbolic strategies would have a devastating effect upon the African family. Although they probably didn't know how long the African family would survive their tactics and the exact ultimate results, they knew nonetheless that the ingestation of non-African concepts and ideals would have an adverse effect upon us, and God knows it has. Okay, so the agenda of his story in our lives is to have us live in pain, desolate, and filled with grief and bitterness, self-hatred, rage, and blind hopelessness. And that's where we've been, y'all. Okay? And that's why we have to keep hoping for a better days coming. The process normally begins in childhood
when his story is injected into the minds of our youth and ultimately manifested in our adulthood. And there it is again. Give us your children till they're 6, then they're ours forever. Okay? We got to develop ways of thinking that are consistent with our story. Because once we do that, y'all, our patterns of behavior will answer the imperatives and dynamics of our story. One of the first lies that we were taught was God said, let us make man in our image. Well, who was there to hear God when he said it? Think, just ask questions, right? Okay, I'm running out of time. I got to end here. You're invited to support us with your tax-deductible contributions. Okay, you can make your donation through PayPal. Okay, the PayPal address is africanvillage1@aol.com. You can make your donation through Cash App at # Dr. Ray Hagins. As you see there, you can make your donation through Zelle. My Zelle account is my email address, rayhagins@gmail.com. Okay, get that right. Ray Hagins, 1 G in my name. All right, some of you have been making donations through Zelle, and I've been getting a notation that you're trying to make a donation, and therefore I have to go register. If that happens, that means you typed in something wrong. Okay? So get the email address right. And I thank you so very much for your donations. You know, thank you so much for your continued support, man. Couldn't make it without you. All right? Our 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week broadcast could not air without your support, your donations, man. Right there, you're invited to log on to WBLR.com, all right, which is our website where we stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yes, still in progress, but you can hear the stream. So just go there and just listen to me teaching. Okay? Yep. And that's also the same site as theafricanvillage.org. Okay? And of course, brothers and sisters, I can't leave without inviting you to become a member of the Black Achievement Fund. All right? One of the greatest organizations that I know of for our empowerment. Yeah, remember I was mentioning earlier about the agenda, what agenda is in place for our empowerment? Well, here it is, the Black Achievement Fund. Okay? And our president and founder, Brother Arki Hodges, has shared his vision for our empowerment. And you're invited to log on at 2 o'clock at baf.solutions to listen to his presentation every Sunday at 2 o'clock. Okay? And listen to him talk about what the Black Achievement Fund is really all about, and then come and join us in the Black Achievement Fund. Okay? We're doing some great things. Yeah, come on and be a part of us, man. You know, just being a part of African people in unity is worth $9 a month. Not to mention what we're achieving. Just being a part of an entity that's in unity is worth the support of $9 a month. Okay, so come on and be a part of us, man. There's Brother Arki there with his arm raised in there, powerful young brother. Okay, doing a great work. Come on and join us and be a part of the Black Achievement Fund. The addresses you see there is baf.solutions. Okay, again, baf.solutions. Yeah, man. Okay, so come on and join us. I'm a member and I want you to be one too. Yeah, okay. I want you to be one too. Yeah, come on and join us there at the Black Achievement Fund. Okay, family, it's time for me to get out of here now, and let me come on, get ready for us to sing The African and Me, Love the African and You. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. You know why? Because you're easy to love. Okay, so let's clear the air now with some positive energy. And I know, like I said, what I taught today was painful for many, but surgery is often painful. Okay, it's about freeing our African minds to get us to where we need to go. That's what this is about for me. Got me?
Okay, let's do a bit right now of the African in me, love the African in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. You know why? Because you're easy to love. Come on, come together, ain't nothing we can't do. Come on, the African in me, love the African in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do. The African in me, love the African in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do. You're easy. You're easy. Thank you, Angela. You're easy. Easy to love. Come on, here. The African in me, love the African in you. When we come together, there ain't nothing we can't do. African in me, love the African in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. You're easy. Oh yeah, you're easy. You're so easy. Easy to love. Let's do the principles of my heart. Come on. The truth that's in me, love the truth that's in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. The truth that's in me, love the truth that's in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. You're easy. You're easy. You're so easy. You're easy to love. Justice. Justice in me. Love justice in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. Justice in me. Love justice in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. You're easy. You are so easy. You're so easy. Yeah, yeah. Easy to love. Righteousness. Come on, everybody. The righteousness in me. Love the righteousness in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. Oh, the righteousness in me. Love the righteousness in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. You're easy. You're easy. You're so easy. You're easy to love. Let's close out with the African in me. Love the African in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. African in me, love the African in you. When we come together, ain't nothing we can't do. You're easy. Yeah, you are so easy. Ah, you're so easy. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're easy to love. All right, Lily. See, you're easy to love. Yeah. You're easy to love. Brothers and sisters, thank you for being with me today. And until next week, you guys out there stay strong. Okay? Continue to keep me in your prayers as I will do the same for you. Much mirth to you all. Peace.